Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a special Veterans edition of Shaking the Family Tree. We're going to focus on at least one member of my family that served in the military. There were many over the course of decades that served, but this particular gentleman that you're looking at here is Clarence David Canfield, and he was my grandfather's half-brother. His parents were Benjamin Franklin Canfield and my great-grandma, Emma May Smith. Now, Emma married several times. Benjamin Franklin Canfield was just one of her husbands. And Clarence was just one of several children. His siblings included Charles Augustus Canfield, Eva May Canfield, Madeline Canfield, and my grandpa, Howard Alfred Decker. Clarence married twice, once to Elsie Dietz and another time to Vicey Mary Purcell. He served in World War I, and we're going to tell you a little bit about his military career in just a second. Now, in addition to that first photo that I showed you where Clarence was supposed to be a year and a half old, here is another one of him where he is supposed to be 6 years old. Now, it looked like the original date that was written on the photo was 1892, which would not line up with some of the records that I have. His birth date ranges anywhere between 1892 and I've seen it listed as 1895, so a little iffy on his exact birth date, but they all seem to agree that he was born on May 10th. It's just the year where it varies. But anyway, this is Clarence with his sister Eva, so you can go ahead and get a peek at that and see what he looked like. I don't have any photos that I know of him when he was a teenager or in adulthood. I have a bunch of photos that my grandfather gave me that don't have names or dates on them. Some of them were of men and some were of women. Now, Clarence could have very well been among them. I'm not sure. Grandpa tried to go through the photos with me and identify everybody, but he did not recognize any of the men in the other photos that I have, the adult men, to be Clarence. Now, as I mentioned before, there has been some discrepancies about Clarence David's date of birth, but I happen to have the family Bible. And you can see right here, it says Clarence David Canfield, born May 10th, 1894. Now, this was, at least it looks like a 4. This was written by my great-grandmother, Emma, and so I'm assuming that it is correct. She filled in the births and then the deaths and some of the marriages, which I'll show you that one over there. She did Eva's marriage to Paul. Eva was one of her children, but that's a whole other episode. Now, I have shown this Bible in another edition of Shaking the Family Tree, so we won't go over it again, but you can see what the front of it looks like a little bit. I also have a copy of his obituary. It was given to me by my grandfather, and it was given to him by his mother, Emma May Smith. So you can see here, it talks a little bit about his time in the war. And he was a past president of FOE 2119 in Binghamton, member of the Calumet Lodge, member of the Carpenters Union, Frank A. Johnson Post American Legion, Johnson City, Broome Barracks, and he was actually buried out in Binghamton, New York. Now, in addition to the pictures that I showed you, I also have this. This is actually a postcard that was sent to Clarence when he was still at Camp Hancock. At least they thought he was at Camp Hancock. And this is actually a photograph postcard. The men in the photograph are supposed to be the first bunch of drafted boys. That's about all I can say about them at the moment. If you can look with me here on the back of the postcard, you can see it was sent to Clarence, and it was from a relative, Louise. It says, Sal would have it that I should send you one of these cards. Sorry to hear you are in the hospital. If you should come back, there is plenty of work in the mines. And now a lot of our family members worked in the coal mines, so I'm assuming that's what she was talking about. Fred is home. He is the same boy again. This picture was taken at a farewell party for the first bunch of drafted boys. Yours truly, Louise. And you can see it was postmarked for Augusta, Georgia. and that was where Camp Hancock was. And it was dated December 3rd, 1917. But as we already mentioned, Clarence was discharged on November 28th, 1917, and I assume he was discharged to the hospital, as near as I can tell, which would line up, the dates would line up with this postcard. But again, I don't know what Louise was talking about when she said the first bunch of drafted boys, but there they are. If anybody recognizes anybody in that photo, by all means, let me know. Now, I'm on the Augusta Museum of History website, and you can see they have pictures of Camp Hancock as it was during World War I when my family member was there, which is kind of cool to see the old photos. You'll also find photos of Camp Hancock in the Library of Congress. Most of the photos are dated 1918, and as I've already mentioned, it looks like Clarence left out of there in November of 1917. So I don't know if the camps looked different when he was there or not. I'm assuming, you know, there is not much difference between the setup of tents and things from 1917 to 1918, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows more about his particular regiment, I would be interested to hear the history. Now, as you can see here, I'm on the University of Pennsylvania's library website, and you can see in their archives they have a lot of information about the 103rd Engineer Battalion of the Pennsylvania National Guard. And again, that was the unit that Clarence David Canfield served with. They were nicknamed the Dandy First, and I believe they were also nicknamed the Iron Division, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not quite sure. I wanted to show you this. There is a 28th Infantry Division shrine at the Pennsylvania Military Museum, and it actually talks about the unit that my relative was in, which is kind of neat. We have several scanned documents in our family tree collection related to Clarence David. A lot of them have to do with his residence. He has a lot of telephone directory listings that we have copies of, along with census records, and we do have his military records as well. You can see here, this is one of his military records. It was his U.S. World War I draft registration card, and you can see here it says that he had dark brown eyes and light skin, and he was discharged from the engineer in 1917, November 28th. So we'll just give you a peek at some of these. There's some more census records. Here is his registration card, where you can see he registered for service. We've got some more telephone and registration directory listings. Here's his marriage records and his veterans compensation application. We have there. You can see where he served. Again, Company A, 103rd Regiment Engineers. He served from July 1917 to November 1917. And some more registration forms. Marriage records, and his application for his headstone. You see he was 28th Division. He was buried with military honors. Okay, that concludes today's special Veterans Day edition of Shaking the Family Tree. Please feel free to leave any questions in the comments below. We hope that you are enjoying this series and that you will go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to our channel if you're not already, and be sure to tell all your friends and family about our channel. Thanks a lot, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great Veterans Day, and again, thank you to all of those that served. We appreciate your sacrifice.